Hello and welcome to another video. As you can see, this is a very cute mouse and I'm really pleased with it, and I'm sure you're going to like it too. So let's get started. I've made a wire armature. I'm using florist wires and this one is number 22. It's a bit thick and sturdy and you have to cut it with a cutter. So just fold it over the full length of it, right in the middle. And I'm going to use half of it to make a mouse because I want a smaller one. So I made a big armature first just as a practice. And I'm twisting it right from the middle. So this is going to be the nose. And when it's nicely twisted, taken the other half and folded it over right in the middle. And I'm putting it right where the neck is going to be and twisting it on both sides. So I get a triangle in the middle. So I'm joining it, giving it 2 twists, and then I've taken it right in the center and twisted again, so this forms a kind of a chest. And these are going to be the arms, so I'm just cutting them as they were too long and folding over using my pliers so I get a neater finish. Now I'm using a thinner wire. This is also a florist wire to make the tiny hands. So just taking it around and under the folded hand that I had made and just twisting it into fingers. So this wire is really thin and easy to bend and shape. As you can see, it looks like thread. It's really thin and easy to handle. So I've made a hand with it, just 4 fingers. Now I'm going to cover the whole of it with pipe cleaners so it's easy to get the full on top. Once it's covered with pipe cleaners, I'm wrapping wool around it. I'm using cordial slivers. Going to cover the whole body with thin strands of wool. Here I'm covering the legs with more pipe cleaners and just using as much as I need, covering it with wool. So now it looks like a frog. Wrapping more wool around the head so I get a rounded finish. And I'm shaping the head as well. So this is going to be the nose, and I'm shaping it with my needle. the shape of the mouth and the nose. Really want to get the right shape of the mouth and the nose, and so I'm felting it, making it as firm as I can, and I'm using very little pieces at a time of wool, and trying to get the right shape. You have to have a reference in front of you, so I've got many pictures open on my laptop of a face of a mouse, and as you can see, I'm losing shape, so I'm going to cut off a bit of wool from the chin so I get a nice cone shaped head, to be precise. I don't want to have a rounded one, so I'm going to make it as firm as I can and get the right shape, which has the nose and the mouth, and still is a kind of a pointy shape as the mice have. So I'm working on the head. Felted down a piece of wool, and I'm going to add it to the top forehead. And more on the cheeks, and I had to cut again because again it was losing shape and becoming too rounded instead of becoming pointy. And as you can see, I'm adding wool starting from the forehead right between the eyes, so I don't lose the pointy shape. Trying to get the shape right and using another piece of wool, just lightly felted. I'm adding it right on top of the nose to get a little arch and a forehead. And now you can see it's taking shape. I know where the eyes are going to be, so I've felted the eye sockets. Now I'm adding more wool to the body just to make it a bit rounded. And I'm using my multi-tool to speed things up. I had forgotten to add the tail, so I'm adding it now. It can go when you're making the armature, you can just use a pipe cleaner that extends backwards. So I'm using a pipe cleaner, and I'm adding it now with a bit of glue at the end, and then I'm just putting it in. I've cut the wool the felted part and just placed it inside and added some glue so it's secure. Now I'm adding wool on it so it's firmly attached. For the tiny fingers, I've unraveled some yarn, pink colored yarn, and I'm using one strand of it. After unraveling it, using the thinnest strand, and just wrapping the wire with it. And it's going to be a bit tricky, but you'll get used to it. Covering the hand, and I'm using a little bit of glue, the all-purpose glue. So just put glue with a brush, and now I'm adding the yarn on top, just wrapping it up so it stays in place. And with the brush I add glue to each finger and then wrap the wool around it. And now comes the fun part, adding color. And I've added eyes as well. I've used 3 mm glass eyes and just had to put them in the sockets. I had made the sockets before, so it was easy. For the feet, I'm using light pink wool and using the same wool for the nose. Shaping the nose. Right where it's supposed to be. And I'm shaping it with my smallest needle, the finest one. That's used for details as I'm shaping the nose with it. Using lighter brown color underneath the eyes and the cheeks, so it gets a natural shade to it. I'm using carded wool and I've got all my wool from the world of wool. Had the animal pack, and then I got some more wool of the colors I liked. For the mouth, I've used a strand of dark brown wool and just pushed it in right underneath the nose. And now I'm shaping the mouth, adding a little wool and just trying not to make it too big. So this here I'm making the farmer's pants and I'm just measuring it out, and to be honest, this is the first time I'm doing this. I don't know anything about making clothes and stitching and sewing. I'm just giving it a try. I'm using a felt sheet and keeping my mouse on top, just marking out 2 sides of the pants. and want them almost the same on both sides. I'm just cutting it out. So roughly, if I've left more felt sheet on both the sides, so I can use that to stitch it up, and it goes all around the body. Folding in the back, and it comes around the legs as well, just almost. So I've taken the mouse and drawn the pants. Now I'm going to stitch it up. This is the front of it, and just fold it over. Now I'm going to stitch it from the sides. Once one side is stitched up, you can wrap it around and then stitch the other side. I've added more details with lighter blue thread and light blue felt sheet, made some pockets and did some outlines. You can play around with it. Now I'm stitching up the rest of it between the feet and on the other side as well. So the pants are stitched on top of the mouse because, as I told you, I don't know anything about stitching, so I've just given it a try. Now I'm adding details around the eyes. Lighter colored. A thin line of white around the eyes makes a lot of difference. And then I'm going to add eyelids as well. So this is a little piece of wool folded over the edge and making it really thin. So this is going to be the lid. I felt it on top of the head, around the eyes. For the straps, I'm using the lighter blue felt sheet, and I had added 2 buttons to the front of the pants, and these go right to the back. And I've knitted a little tiny hat. After I knitted the hat with crochet, I crocheted the hat. I am making ears and I'm using a fawn colored felt sheet for it. I'm just going to pin them onto the head and then felt them down. I'm going to put them up on top of the hat I had crocheted. Now I've used a thread and needle to attach the hat and felted down the ears. I'm taking off the big brown buttons because they were too big, and I've crocheted a chain of light blue color, and I found some smaller buttons, and I think these look better. So you can always make changes to your project, just see what works best. Those straps were too thick and the buttons were too big. I'm just tying the chain at the back, and then that's going to go underneath the pants, tidying up every loose end. And then I'm going to stitch it, and I've covered the tail with the same carded wool. Here is the mouse already suited up and it looks really cute. I think he needs a rake and he'll look like a farmer. Hope you enjoyed and thank you very much for watching.